Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Collier from HolisticPracticeDevelopment.com, and I'm here in New York City with my partner James Maskell. You know, one thing that everyone wants to know is, how can I make more money? And how can I lower my expenses? Because, you know, if you lower your overhead, you've basically made more money in profit. Now, there are times when it actually makes sense to increase your overhead because it's going to make you more productive and you're going to be able to increase the amount of money that you're collecting. That's what we want to talk about today.
We've had so many questions and inquiries from practitioners who are looking to take that next step in overhead, either to get their own space, or hire their first office manager, or hire subsequent staff, or hire a marketing person, or something like that. In each case, it's adding to their overhead, and there's a fear, there's a desire to be able to do more and move towards their vision, but there's an unease with being able to feel like one can't afford to do that. And what we wanted to look at today was just to be able to start to think about when is the right time to add infrastructure and how to afford that extra infrastructure, because in order for a practice to grow successfully, you have to grow your sales and you have to grow your income, and then you have to grow the infrastructure, and it's like a constant oscillation between those two, so that you're never having too much overhead for your income or too much income for your overhead, either which are unsustainable.
So when you start to add staff for the first time, a lot of people are thinking, well, I can't afford it. And you know, you may already have staff, but you need to add a second staff person. You might think, I can't afford it. What you need to do is sit down and look at your appointment book and start to look at what are your most valuable activities. So this is wearing that entrepreneur hat that we've talked about. It's also wearing a manager hat that we've talked about. You are a technician. As a practitioner, you are a technician who is doing, this is from a business standpoint. As a practitioner, you wear a technician hat when you're treating patients. You need to step out of that hat and put on an entrepreneur manager hat when you start to look at hiring your first employee or hiring more employees. And you have to look at, what are your most valuable activities? This is about productivity for you, because you want the majority of your time being spent treating patients. You know, Tiger Woods, when he plays golf, when Michael Jordan plays basketball, they're not thinking about accounting and scheduling and when are they going to do their endorsements or whatever. They're focusing on their game. Your A game is being a practitioner, and when you're spending time doing anything that someone else could do, it is a waste of your time. And by hiring that first person or another person, it's going to enable you to spend more time being productive on what you do best and what you really get paid for.
So how can you actually work out when is the right time to make this decision? What we would recommend is to think about it like this. Write down all of the things that you're doing as a practitioner. So you have your very valuable activities like seeing patients for one, and two, out there doing talks, advertising your business, that type of thing. And then look at all the other things you're doing. I see practitioners who are still cleaning their own office, who are still making their own patient follow-up calls, who are still ordering products from their companies that they work with, suppliers, who are still unpacking and pricing those. Think about how many all the things that you do, and talk about how many hours a week you spend doing them. And what you'll see is that if you were to write a job description for your new employee, what could they be taking away from you, and how many hours that is a week, and then multiply that hours a week by, you know, whatever you can bring in an hour. So typically that might be 10 hours a week, and you're worth $300 an hour, you know, doing your most valuable activities. Then, you know, you're looking at $3,000 a week. Now that's enough to employ someone unbelievable in your practice, and maybe the numbers won't do that, but I'd say that if you start looking at it from that perspective, if I didn't have to do this, I could see these extra practitioners, and maybe this extra time you want to spend half the time seeing patients and half the time you want to just have more time off. That's the whole goal. That's the whole reason why you hire people in the first place. So what I would do is to look at those calculations and to see, okay, I can see that if I was to have an extra 5 hours off a week, I could see an extra 2 patients a week. That would bring me this, and then I can afford this. And that's the way to start to look at it. There will be a moment of pressure when you first hire them and you're first having to pay that that extra overhead. But I promise you, if you do this right and it's congruent with your business plan, very soon you will see the absolute benefit of having other people doing the things that you've been doing that you don't need to be doing. And that is how you transition from where you are now to your vision of your practice. You make more money, you get more time off, more time with your family, and build something consistently that has value. So hopefully that's a wonderful tip to start your week, and Dr. Collier and I are here to be able to help you to make that transition and to do it effectively so that your business remains vibrant, successful for years and years to come. Thanks very much for being on the call, and we'll see you next time.